Whoa, I figured I'd have to get back on here. Sooner than I thought I would. I don't like making videos every day. I got other things to do. And I don't like making videos every hour, as I got things to do. I mean, this is just, whatever. I mean, a lot of these guys, this is their income, I mean, it's like, go get a job. But, whatever. This is Democrats. Ironic. Say, you got Pritzker out here now. And it's one thing to call for, protests. It's one thing to say, you should show up and peaceably protest, someone's policies or you don't agree with something. I mean, that's one thing to do it peaceably. It's another thing to be calling for get in their face and run them out and that kind of stuff. That's terrorism. Inciting riots. That's not protests, okay? Protesting is you go out and you can chant your little chant, and I mean as long as it's not profane and you're not violating other people's rights. The people should be able to come and go through buildings and drive up and down roads and everything like they should. And people shouldn't be out there yelling and screaming so loud they're disturbing and disrupting things that's going on around them. I mean, there's a point to where it's not peaceable. Say, it's not being peaceable. Well, Pritzker, he's a governor. He took an oath to uphold the Constitution. Not only that, but he took an oath to his state. And everything that the guy took an oath to and the laws that he took an oath to and blah, 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 he's violating. Someone needs to go arrest this man for sedition. Sedition. I mean, the guy is so far out of line. He's out of line. And what I find ironic about all this is they want to make all these claims. Hitler. It's Trump. This is like the beginning of Nazis. The Hitler and all that stuff. Pritzker. I'm like, Trump's not calling for anything. He's not calling for violence. He's not calling for anything. I mean, what's he doing wrong? No one can say anything. You see, they just make a blanket statement and go, "Oh, he's trying to be dictator." Okay. How? How? He's not following the Constitution. How? You see, they want to make a blanket statement, but they want to tell you anything. You're supposed to figure it out. Well, the fact of the matter is he is the executive. Okay? You got three branches: legislative, judicial, executive. In his powers, he has a lot. He's basically the CEO, chairman of the country. He has the right to go out and broker deals and this and that stuff. And the Supreme Court is supposed to not make policy, but actually uphold the law. And the Congress is actually the ones that make the law. Say. So Pritzker, he's supposed to be running a state. Instead, he's running his fat mouth. Say. And what really gets me about this, too, is they never explain anything. Why? Just blanket statements. I mean, if you see anybody out there doing what they're not supposed to be doing, it's these damn judges. They're so far out of line, it's unbelievable. So, let's put that aside for a second. Trump is saying, hey, listen, we got all these tariffs out here. They're not fair to us. Haven't been for decades. Okay. That's what a CEO does. We have to make money. We have to be prosperous. We can't just be, running the country into the ground like a corporation. We can't run it into the ground. So we have to go in and see where money's not being spent and where it should be spent and how it's spent and so on and so forth, like a CEO does. And he has to protect our borders. And there's just numerous things like this. I mean, I could, if I wanted to bore the hell out of you, but I made the few points I've made, you're thinking of probably 10 more, okay, that he has a right to do. So he's pro-America. He's trying to bring business, and he is bringing business back to our country. So you, your children, your brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, people can go out and better their lives by getting jobs, well-paying jobs. Now, will all these jobs, employ lots and lots of people? Well, some of it's going to be AI stuff, robotics and things like that. But still, it's going to employ people. People have to fix these robots, and people. There's still a lot of things people have to do. And we're talking about long term here, too. Longer than 4 years, 10 years maybe. I mean, this stuff, energy, the drilling, the coal, the building of power plants, the building of more, refineries and so on and so forth. It takes time. The oil, the steel, the aluminum, all this stuff. It takes time. So that's all pro America. That's pro growth, which is good. That's what you want. And when you have growth, you're going to have prosperity, which is good. That's what you want. And when you had a whole bunch of people that are, quote, illegal coming to this country and take resources that could be spent on American people. I hate the word citizen because you're not a citizen, okay? You're Caesar. You own this country, okay? You should be, receiving these goods. You should be receiving services. You should be receiving all this stuff. Instead, they take this stuff and start giving it away to who? People that are not. We're spending a lot of money chasing people and rounding people up. Now, with the border being closed down like it is, that frees up a lot of money. Why? Because we're not having to spend all this money and resources and trucks, cars, judges, courts, jails, ICE, border patrol, the whole 9 yards, not down at the border like they were trying to catch all these people. So we freed up resources so we can go round these people up, get them out of our country. To protect who? Caesar, the rightful owners of this country. But you see, the Democrats are against this. The Democrats are anti-American. The Democrats want to see this country fail. See, that's their stick right there. Because if you're not for positive and growth and helping grow the standard of living for the American people, what are you then? Well, you're against that. They're against it. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you with a leg up, you see? They want to see you fail. They want to see this country fail. Everybody in their right mind would be for prosperity. If you were buying a company, if you're investing in a company, you're going to look around going, well, hell, they're investing in the company. They're investing in workers. Their technology, they're growing their technology. They're hiring the best. I mean, you look at a company and go, that's a good company to buy into. It's going to pay dividends. You're going to make money. You're going to get rich. Or you want a company that's going bankrupt, spending money all here frivolously, just hemorrhaging money. Nobody has a clue what's going on. And it just gets to the point to where you look around going, what the hell? You don't want any part of it. You want to get on the gravy train. You don't want to be on the train that is running off a bridge and crashing in the bottom of a fucking valley in a river. And that's what the problem is here. These Democrats, they don't even know why they're saying what they're saying because they can't say anything that even points to what they're saying. They're senseless. They make no sense. The only sense that you can take from this is they're anti-American. They're communists. They want this country to fail. You see, you just can't run around giving everything away. Look at your own households. If the money you brought in and you just like, well, we'll just here and go there and go there and go there, and it's like, well, now I'm in debt really bad. Well, we're just gonna get some more debt and well, yeah, now, well, gosh, it's looking really bad. Like, you're gonna file for bankruptcy. You're not even gonna have a house, and you're gonna owe all this money. Debt notes. Not money. My point being is, you can't run things like that. If you were in a court of law and you just said, well, he's Hitler. Where's your proof? Substantiate what you're saying. Well, he's done this, this, and this. Okay. Have you read the Constitution? Have you seen what the president, executive branch can do? Right? Have you seen what the oh, that's right. Judges are not supposed to make policy. They're supposed to follow laws. They need to go back and read the Constitution. Well, we don't like what he's doing, so we're going to impeach him. Okay, impeach him for what? Oh, that's right. You're going to take your toys and go home because you're mad. Like a bunch of little 2-year-olds. See, that's what we got out there. A bunch of 2-year-olds. A bunch of damn idiots that don't even know why they're mad. Oh, that's right. They're not getting their way. Sorry. You know, that's what happens, you see. When you live in a constitutional republic, you have every right to make your own way. And if you don't like what's going on, you have the right to leave too. You can go. And that's my message. If you're not pro American and you want to hold this country back and you want to terrorize and sabotage this country, get the hell out. There's no place for you here. You see, when you bring a whole bunch of people into a country that don't assimilate, that don't even want to speak English, and I don't care what language you speak, and want to fly some other flag up to your flagpole, and want to just run amok, well, that destroys the country. That destroys the core values. That destroys the Constitution. That destroys the law of the land. Say. And these people, they're despicable. They have no clue what they're even talking about. They're just mad because, I don't know, they're told to be mad. It's like that James Carville. I did that thing on him the other day, and that video was like a month ago or so. He's got cabinets open and drawers open and empty wine bottles, on the counter. The counter's got messy. It's like, and you're talking about what? And then you see him in some other videos, and he's got a I don't know, he must be sitting in his bar in his home or something, because he's got all these bottles, like on shelves and stuff like that. It's like, dude, get off the sauce. Maybe you'll think straight. Look at his eyes. The guy's he just a babbling, hateful, just destroy America. I mean, obviously the people that are paying them are, I don't know, George Soros, Klaus Schwab, people like this, people that are anti-American. Obviously the Chinese are paying them. Because why the hell else would you want to destroy the country that you were born in? The country that gave you so much. Every man and woman, because there are a lot of women that died in the Civil War. There's a lot of women that died in the Revolutionary War, and children too. They died in vain because you're such a piece of shit? They died in vain? Every Democrat that's out here running around pulling this bullshit, it's a slap in the face of the American people that have stood tall, and stood strong, and been mowed down because of people like this. What do we do to those people? We ran them out of the damn country. It's always interesting to me where else are you going to go? Where? Yeah, we have our problems. But the problem is people like these damn Democrats wouldn't even clap for a child that had brain cancer. Wouldn't clap and show respect to a husband and a father that put his life, put himself between the bullets that were going to possibly kill his family. Sacrificed himself. Wouldn't clap. I'll tell you what, those people, they should be run out. I mean, they should literally be run out of this country. We don't want them here. You don't want people like that. You don't want those people to be your neighbors. Why? They will turn on you. You want people in this country that are pro-America, pro-business. You know, I'm not saying business can't be tyrants. They can. But this is why you make laws. You know, and you don't make draconian laws. You know, you don't go overboard and become a dictator. And that goes for anybody. You know, you make practical laws that people can live by and no one's being harmed by. You know, you can't just give businesses everything they want and the American people the scraps and leftovers. No, you can't do that. Because the fact of the matter is, it's the American people. That's what it's all about. Without the American people, there'd be no America. Once they kill enough of you, run you out of the country, bring enough aliens in, and so on and so forth, to destroy the morale and to destroy the way of life and to destroy our Constitution because these people don't assimilate, multiculturalism does not work. You have to come to this country, learn the laws, Constitution, and want to be an American. You want to be. And when you come in and do that, you got to there's nothing wrong with still having to be proud of your heritage. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be American first. There's nothing wrong with, going home if you're Italian and making a big pot of spaghetti and meatballs and eating and drinking wine and reminiscing about the quote old days. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. You should be proud of your heritage. But when it conflicts with the United States, when it conflicts with our Constitution, no, there's a problem. Prisoner's a problem. If you watch Chuck Schumer, he's being very careful of what he's saying now. He sees the writing on the wall. And there's others, Democrats out there looking around, seeing the writing on the wall. They're getting worried. And they should. These people are despicable. Like, they shouldn't be sitting here putting down a country that has given them so much. Pritzker is a billionaire. I mean, the guy should be thanking this guy. I mean, he's a quote, I'll come here, my family's immigrants, we came here, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, well, be thankful. Act thankful. Be thankful. You should be saying, God bless America. Instead of running around with a bunch of rhetoric and telling people how awful and bad it is and this and that stuff. Yes, like I said, we do have some problems. But basically the problems we have is greed. They have to be greedy. And they have to control things. Piss on them, man. I'm not talking about violence or anything. I'm talking about prisoner. The state that you got to have a FOID card, and I mean, there's a ton of things in that country that are just draconian as hell. Of course, you'd expect that. And the other thing of it is too. Here's a state that it seems like every governor that ever came from that state ends up going to prison. Well, Bretsner, you should be there. Maybe they'll just send you to Gitmo. Now that would be a first. Okay? The rest got caught up in some corruption bullshit and this and that stuff. You should actually go to Gitmo for being a terrorist. My attitude about things is real simple. Keep your hands to yourself. The minute you do something stupid and lay your hands on somebody else or take vengeance against them, well, you just open the door up for your ass kicking. You just open up the door for you to defend yourself. They're the aggressor. They declared war on you. And I don't care who it is. I mean, I watch these cops pull people over, and you're going to comply. Well, their little egos get hurt. Now they want to hurt you. I'm not required to talk to you. I talk to you out of be courtesy to you. But I don't have to talk to you. Judges, they think because they got this black robe, they got all this power. They don't. You are Caesar. Okay? You're Caesar. Kick their asses out. Kick their asses out. Every one of them is corrupt, has done corrupt stuff. Why? Because they don't know the Constitution. They don't know the laws. They think they do, but they don't. These people are unbelievably stupid. If you go read if you get charged for something, and you go back and you start reading the statutes and so on and so forth, you're going to know more than the prosecutor does. You're going to know more than the police do. You're going to know more than all of them put together because they don't. They just this is how we do it. This is how we do it. We do this, and we do that, and we do this. Okay. But over here it says this, this, and this, and this, and that. They start looking at each other like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, right, because they don't know. They have no clue. You will know more than they do. So, folks, I've rambled on way more than I should have. This country has a lot of flaws. But you finally have somebody that is trying to do something different for the country, and I hope it works. I hope it works. We're still not out of the woods. I mean, don't think we're on to utopia, because we're not. There's a lot to go wrong still, and you're fighting your own stupid idiots in this country because they're brainless. Because they want to clean the streets up and try to make you safe. Man, what's wrong with that? I would think people would go, that's good. Yeah, get these criminals out of the house. I don't want to break into my house. I don't want to break into my daughter's house. Especially I don't want to break into my daughter's house and sexually assault her and beat her half to death or take her life. But no, we'd rather just, no, don't pick on those people. First of all, they're already here illegally. That's a law right there. They broke the law. And they all want to look at the law and throw the law away. But you better follow their rules. Better follow our rules. Better listen to what we have to say, even though we can't back up anything we say. Well, the judge said, well, the judge is fucking wrong. Judge is a moron. See, like, people need to go back to my older videos and start watching some of that stuff. It's real simple. You got a constitution. All these people, Supreme Court said, hey, we're going to follow the Constitution, law of the land, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Every person on that Supreme Court, when there's a constitutional decision to be made, every one of them should either be totally unanimous because they're following the Constitution, or totally against it because it doesn't follow the Constitution. It should be all 9 yeas or 9 nays. Okay? But we want to split. We want to split because well, we're gonna change policy. We're gonna implement our agenda. You don't have an agenda. Okay? You're supposed to follow the Constitution. And when you don't, because your opinion means shit, is what it means. Absolute shit. And I honestly believe, hopefully, the FBI and the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, all these people start watching these judges. Watch it. And when they go against the Constitution, say something against the Constitution, and their decisions against the Constitution, it's in their opinion and this and that shit, strike, 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 strike. Get half a dozen strikes, a dozen strikes, all suddenly, there, you're indicted. What? You can't indict me, I'm Supreme Court Justice. We're coming after you for sedition, for treason, high crimes and misdemeanors. Well, what did I do? I said, you're not following the Constitution. You're not following the law of the land. Your opinion doesn't mean shit. You're not here to make policy. You're not here to make law. That's Congress's job. Okay? I'll tell you. See, we've tried this way for decades. We've tried doing the same thing for decades, over and over and over and over, and look where it's got us. How many trillions in debt? Idiots running around out there all over the place that just make blanket statements and can't say anything but a bunch of rhetoric bullshit that should be thrown in a gulag someplace because they're committing treason. Especially when you're governor. Especially when you're in the Senate. Or you're in the House. Or you're sitting on a court. You're supposed to know better than this stuff. People like me, we're idiots. I mean, we don't know nothing. I mean, we don't know the inner workings and all the bull. But we do know right from wrong. I'll leave it at this. It has ran way too long.